This is a Phantom Thoughts RPG a Day 2025 episode. For this year, for RPG a Day, I will attempt to use the prompts to create elements of an adventure module. So hopefully by the end of the month, I'll have everything you need that you put together party characters and go on an adventure. RPG a Day 2025, Day 18, Sign. A sign is a type of information. It may provide immediate instruction, like a stop sign, or an identification of resources, places to stay, law firm services, rest areas, restaurants, or a portent of the future, from a bridge out sign to a reading of danger that comes from tea leaves or animal entrails, or something like footprints, dung, or other markings left by a dangerous animal. So the question arises in RPGs, how to deliver signs in a way that PCs would recognize. In a fantasy realm with a variety of races, species, religions, cultures, how to communicate the meanings of signs to the PCs that they do see. And also taking into account that the PCs may use magical means or seek out persons who can use magical means to find signs, to find a direction, to a way to forward whatever mission or quest they may be on. But how, with context, can you communicate the meaning of a sign? Is lightning striking a dead tree on the side of the road a sign of the old being swept aside for the new, or that the lands will face destruction soon? Is it even necessary to have an interpretation of the signs in mind and to find a way to feed that to the PCs? Or would it be a matter of listening to the players hash out what they think it means and moving from there and somehow tying that to whatever adventure or quest may be in the area? Maybe not the one the PCs are on, but another one. But in any case, signs are a way to indicate the future, whether immediate or distant future. So what are some ways that, having established some of the creatures that are within or types of creatures at least, that are within the former layer of the Lamian Noble, what signs can be given to indicate what these creatures are and perhaps the level of danger that they may provide to the party? To figure out what signs might be available in the Lamian Noble's former lair, we need to find out which creatures are in which location. So I'm going to roll on my list for the appropriate spots as I previously determined which of the zones, as it were, in the lair would have which type of creature. I need to roll for the specific creature and determine what sort of signs would be available to show the party that what they're about to face. So in the first zone, it's going to be one of the creatures from the plane of Earth. And we got a total of 3 creatures from the plane of Earth in the 7 zones, 2 lawful good creatures, 1 evil rival, and 1 powerful limited intelligence creature. There were only 3 planes of Earth creatures that I came up with for a list, so they will all be here. This will just be about the order. So in that first zone, it's going to be the Greater Basilisk. So a Greater Basilisk, and a Greater Basilisk has the ability to petrify with its gaze. It also has poison claws and breath. So this gives a lot of possibilities for signs. First of all, you have statues of people that were, or creatures that were turned to stone by meeting the basilisk's gaze. There could be a foul stench of some sort, maybe a metallic stench, some sort of poison in the air might smell kind of metallic or smell foul. And then, of course, there could be the clicking of the claws on stone, because this first area zone is a stony area. So there could be a clicking of claws on that. Okay, the second zone houses a lawful good creature. Now, there were only 2 lawful good creatures, and we're going to get them both, so this is just a matter of which one do we get. And we get the Coatl. So we get the Coatl, which is a feathered serpent. It flies, so it's not going to leave a lot in the case of sign on the ground, but since it is a feathered serpent, you could see feathers, and they could be of an unusual quality, perhaps. Certainly, I believe they would be colorful, because if I'm remembering my creatures correctly, I believe the Coatl in legend, or the legends that kind of relate to the Coatl, have kind of colorful feathers. But you know what? Whether they do or not, I'm going to say they are. So colorful feathers is an opportunity. Then, of course, you could have the flapping of the wings. Flapping of the wings. So that would be another sign that you could have. That's a sound and a sight. They also have a poisonous bite, and they have constriction as a weapon. They have psionics. So there could be some sort of psionic residue, perhaps. Some sort of psychic feel in the area if you have any psionically sensitive characters. Perhaps you could say high intelligence gives them an opportunity to feel something. And you could have poisoned or crushed bodies. All right, the next creature, the next zone, is going to have a powerful, limited intelligence creature. Now, for this, I had a lot of possibilities, a total of 5, plus also a creature, a Neo-Otyugh, and I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it, Neo-Otyugh, which is kind of a tag-along creature that feeds on the offal and leavings and residues from other creatures. So I believe it will be accompanying this powerful creature. But we have 5 powerful creatures, so we're going to roll and see which one we get. And we get a purple worm. We get a purple worm. So we'll have a purple worm with the Neo-Otyugh. So with the purple worm, what you're going to see is large holes in the ground, leading into the ground, out of the ground, where the purple worm has come and gone. Probably also see hints of the creature just along the ground as the creature travels along within the caverns of this lair. The purple worm swallows its victims; it eats them, and with the Neo-Otyugh cleaning up its offal, there might not be a lot of other signs there. But and it also has a poison sting attack. So it may be that you find part of a body with a large hole in it, or a large sting hole mark, that because it's poisoned, maybe the purple worm avoided it, and maybe the Neo-Otyugh did as well. So that would be signs for that. But of course, if they run across the lair, the nest of the Neo-Otyugh, that is a pile of trash, awful, that sort of thing. All right, the next creature is the other lawful good creature, which is the Sheddu. And a part of the Sheddu's form, the lower part of the form, is a horse. So you would have hoof marks. It also has wings, so you would find feathers. And you would probably hear the clip-clop of the hooves as you got nearer to the Sheddu. And then we have another plane of earth creature. So we'll roll to see which of the other 2 this is. And this is going to be the Zorn. So the Zorn is a creature that can pass through stone. So it's not going to leave any kind of burrow behind. But it is a trilateral symmetry. It has 3 feet. So you might have some strange footprints that someone can eventually deduce is coming from a creature with 3 feet. It also could have some little scraps of rare metals that the Zorn feeds on, sort of the crumbs falling out of its mouth, as it were. The next zone is going to be plane of earth, the last of the plane of earth creatures. This one is a Dao, and this is similar to a jinn or an ifrit. The dowel does burrow through the ground, so you could have places where it's burrowed. Also, it has the ability to use rock to mud and dig spells. So you could find areas of large sections of dirt and stone that had been moved or transformed. Maybe a large section of mud that it's created to slow down potential victims. The last one is an evil rival. This will be in the zone with the God's artifact. We're either going to get a mind flayer or a vampire. And we got a mind flayer. It has normal feet, but it does have slimy skin, so you may find some slimy footprints as a sign of the mind flayer. And because of its mental powers, its psionic abilities, you might find some sort of mindless creatures that have been affected by the mind flayer's powers. It didn't bother to finish them off, and they're just kind of hanging around in the caves and caverns and rooms, and taking shelter and just acting on pure instinct because their minds are gone from a mind blast of some kind. And so that gives us signs that we might find in the Lamia Noble's former lair. The opening theme of this podcast was Strength of the Titans, and the closing music is Late Night Radio, both from Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. If you have any thoughts or feedback, you can get in touch with me by leaving me a voicemail on my Google Voice number, 864-209-1441. That's 864-209-1441. Or through SpeakPipe at www.speakpipe.com/Phantom Thoughts. That's www.speakpipe.com/Phantom Thoughts. Or you can send me a message or an audio file on Discord, where I can be found the Pink Phantom, or through email, phantomthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. That's phantomthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. I don't have to play or read your feedback on the podcast if that is not your preference. Just let me know.